Hey, I really am sleepy.
I have to get you a cup of coffee.
I need something. Then I'd probably be awake all night.
Yeah, I have nights. I'm lucky to get 2 or 3 nights sleep. I got so much on my mind, and sometimes I'm so tired, I'm not tired.
I know.
You
Been
know?
there, done that.
Yep. So we don't really have any deliverables or a work plan from the chamber, do we? They just ask for some. That's one thing I'm going to kind of ask about is what are the deliverables, and I'd like a written report just for historical purposes.
Is that,
Gentlemen,
hey,
Good evening.
do you want to mandate that and adopt the budget or not adopt?
Do what now? Mandate it what?
Do you want to mandate it and adopt the budget or not adopt the budget? What?
I'll bring it up for discussion and we'll see where it goes.
is this what brains are got right
No, right here.
We're just along for the ride.
I'm down to that bend, dude.
Uh-oh.
I had to have light. I had to drink light tonight. Not that this is where
Well,
my
it's still
heart
got caffeine in it, doesn't it?
is. Yeah, I can't go without the caffeine.
See, I can't drink caffeine in the afternoon. It'll keep
Can't?
me up all night.
There.
You got birthday.
we'll call the meeting to order. Welcome everyone here this evening. First item is approval of the agenda. We need to add under 5B, number 2, some budget adjustments that will be brought forward by Bobby. Other than that, I have no other changes.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda with the changes.
Second.
Made and second, all in favor? And motion carries. Thank you. Okay, the next item is a public hearing for the purpose of the people that want to speak on the budget fiscal year 2021. So I'll call that hearing to order and ask Joe for a staff report.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mayor and members of the board. Tonight is your budget public hearing for the fiscal year 2020-2021 budget. Just a quick recap of your budget schedule and process. Back in on May 11th, you had a pre-budget work session. The budget and the budget message was delivered to you on the 20th of May. That included the goals and features of the budgeted activity, the changes from the previous year, inclusive of programs and appropriations. And then you had 2 budget work sessions, the first one on June 10th, the second on June 17th. Those included details of the programs and also included public input. And while COVID-19 restricted in-person public input, we did have one public input that was read into the record verbatim from the town clerk. Budget ordinance public hearing is tonight, and then that will place you in a position, if you so choose, to adopt the budget ordinance tonight or sometime as long as it's not later than July 1st. When you adopt the budget, we'll make revisions to your Zebulon 2030 strategic plan, bring that back to you at your August meeting. So with that, I think there's one person in attendance and there's someone who submitted a comment for public hearing.
Okay, thank you, Joe. Okay, first I'll call forward someone that wants to speak.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor and Commissioners. I'll try to speak loudly through this mask. I'm Mary Beth Carpenter. I'm Executive Director of Preservation Zebulon, and we had asked for a funding grant from the town to help fund a historic house tour that we are hoping to have in April, the weekend after Easter, which will be April 11th, having 5 to 7 homes open in what we hope will be a historic district. We hope we have put a request in for our consultant for a National Register Historic District, and we are hoping by the time this rolls around that we will have it. Nevertheless, we hope to have 5 houses to 7 houses open for tour inside at that time, and we were asking for money to help us with this. Our hopes and plans were that we would be able to have registration downstairs and parking here, and people to sign in and then get the map of where the homes were. We are also hoping we can be partnering with a couple local restaurants and establishments so they could get some food and beverage after the event, and we are hoping this will become an annual event. Then COVID happened, and we had a board meeting, and we did ask Joe if it would be possible to use the community center for our annual meeting. However, we'd like to withdraw that request because we found a private venue with an outdoor covered pavilion that we will be announcing next month. I have to get everything in writing and set up. So we won't need that. Thank you, Joe, for offering last year. We won't need that for our annual meeting, but again, our request does cover some of the goals of Zebulon's strategic plan in small town life, in Grow Smart, and in economic development. We feel having a National Register district will help with the Grow Smart aspect of our request. And we just thank you for your past support, and we are looking forward to continuing to partner with the town. And please keep an eye on our Facebook page, on our website for updates. We are posting photos every week that people have given us of pre-1980 life in Zebulon. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else out there to speak? I don't think so. Okay, we do have one written comment. I'll ask the clerk to read that.
Zebulon Board of Commissioners public hearing on the proposed 2021 budget, June 22nd, 2020. Mayor Matheny and Board of Commissioners, thank you for the opportunity to comment on the town of Zebulon's proposed 2021 budget. First, I would like to commend Town Manager Joe Moore on the outstanding job he and his management team have done to prepare the proposed budget. He received recommendations from the mayor, commissioners, and department heads, and after much deliberation has presented a conservative and yet forward-looking budget. Believe me, I know that this is not a small task. As we all know, these are challenging times where we are on the one hand facing increasing demands for services from the town, while at the same time we are looking at reduced funding from other traditional resources. The proposed budget document includes more than an adequate amount of background information that was used in the development of the final recommended budget. After reviewing the entire 435-page proposed budget document, it is obvious that some funds requested are not included in the recommended budget. In compliance with the North Carolina General Statutes, it was necessary to mesh the request with available funds. Town Manager Moore is to be commended for being able to get the parties making the requests together and getting them to be a part in the final outcome of the budget required masterful skills and diplomacy. Remember those times you have to navigate how that last piece of cake could be shared by all of your children. Based on my thorough review of the information provided, I recommend that the Board of Commissioners adopt the proposed 2021 budget as presented. Donald E. Horton, 618 Stratford Drive, Zebulon, North Carolina, 27597, 919-269-6285.
Thank you, Lisa. One more call, just to be sure there's no one else to speak. Okay, we'll close the public hearing and talk about it a little later. The next item is the consent agenda. Is there a motion on that?
I make a motion we approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Okay, motion made and second. All in favor? Thank you. Motion carries. New business, administration.
Thank you, Mayor. The board adopted a Unified Development Ordinance recently, and one of the tools in that Unified Development Ordinance was a development mechanism called the conditional zoning process. As a result of adopting the UDO, you will have a conditional zoning come before you at the public hearing on April 10th. But this board has not gone through conditional zoning training, so this special called meeting is training on conditional and plan development district, what we're calling conditional zoning plan development district training 101. So that's the reason we're asking for the board to call the meeting.
Did you say April 10th?
If I did, then it was a mistake.
I was going to say, woo, backstroke.
Yeah. We got a little ahead of ourselves.
So it's August 10th.
August 10th.
August. Thank you.
So it's not the August 5th that's on the...
Now, August 10th is the actual public hearing for your first conditional zoning. August 5th is the work session for the training.
Training session, yeah. Okay, all right. Thank you, Joe. Is there a motion?
I make a motion we have a special call meeting on August the 5th.
Okay,
Second.
motion made and second. Other comments? All in favor? Motion carries. Thank you. Okay, budget administration.
In accordance with the Local Government Budget and Fiscal Control Act, North Carolina General Statute, Section 159, the town manager submitted the FY21 budget and budget message to the Board of Commissioners on May 20th, 2020. The board subsequently convened 2 budget work sessions on June 10th and June 17th in order to hear detailed components of and offer public input upon the FY21 budget. The board scheduled a public hearing on June 22nd, 2020, and upon its conclusion has satisfied all statutory requirements to adopt the FY 2020-2021 budget ordinance. The discussion before the board is as follows. 1, adopt the budget ordinance as submitted. 2, modify the budget ordinance. 3, table the discussion until a meeting on or before June 30th.
Okay. Comments from the board on the budget? Okay, is there a motion?
I make a motion, we adopt the budget ordinance as submitted.
Be ordinance 2020-56, please.
2020-56.
Second. Okay, motion made and second. Other comments?
Well, I know this process was difficult because of COVID, and there are lots of cuts across the board as far as the recommended budget goes, and there are a lot of things that we would like to see in the budget that just can't make it in there. I am concerned that a couple of the positions in the police department and one in the fire department have been pulled from the budget. In addition, I'd like to know where the funds from the portion of the Greenway that we are not going to be completing, is that going back into reserve or that's going back into capital?
What will happen when that project is completed and it's zeroed out, those funds will revert back to the general fund balance.
Okay. And then, do we have any idea about when that will hit back into the general fund?
Well, the project, I'm completely going on memory here, but I think the project is at least an 8-month project. So the funds would not be available until, I'm going to say, spring of next year.
Okay. So even though we're not scheduled to use them, they don't go back in until the whole project's completed?
That's right.
Okay. And then I just have a couple questions about a line item. I need to find it. Unless anyone else has something while I'm looking. Okay, under the fire department budget, there is a line item that says fringe benefits. Could I get an understanding of what that is?
Let me recognize Chief Perry. Is he in the adjacent room?
Good evening.
Hi.
The fringe benefit line item includes the monthly meals that the volunteers enjoy once a month. It includes various memberships like the North Carolina State Firemen's Association. So those are t-shirts, some of the t-shirts that the volunteers wear. That's the kind of items. Typically, most of that is volunteer funded.
Okay, this is my first budget, so I
Sure.
wasn't really sure what
By all means.
fringe benefits.
Sure, exactly.
And then it says volunteer pay is now 17,000. So what is that going to cover?
Okay, so each volunteer receives a turnout compensation. It's in the form of a stipend. So each time a volunteer responds to a call, they receive approximately $9 per call, and that's intended to offset any gas, clothing, whatever expenses associated with the call.
Okay, all right, thank you so much.
Very welcome.
Anything else, Shannon? Okay, so, anything else from anyone regarding the budget? Okay, I think we had a motion and a second, so you ready to vote? All in favor? Opposed? And the motion passes. Thank you, folks. Okay, next is nonprofit funding distribution. We have $5,000 available. We have requests for $6,500. Did you have something to say about it, Bobby? You waiting on your
Well,
next
yeah,
one?
I was going to start out with that.
Okay.
Just give a little history, if you
Okay,
will.
go ahead.
Okay. As you mentioned, the new policy allows for 5,000 total per year and 1,000 maximum per any one group. And as you said, there were 7 applications totaling 6,500. The detail of those is in the staff report. You'll recall each group, or most of the groups, made presentations at the March 2nd meeting. And then the analysis was done. You'll see a little chart in there on the back page of the 7 groups. And yeah, other than that, it's open for discussion amongst you guys.
Okay. Comments from anyone about these?
Well, I strongly recommend funding Interact as well as the East Wake Education Foundation. And I think that Preservation Zebulon has been working very hard to collect our history and touch on a lot of the things that we're trying to create here.
Great.
So I think that they should be funded as well.
I'm sorry, Shannon, I didn't hear you. The first one, I heard Interact, but the one before that?
East Wake Education.
Wait, thank you.
I agree
Just trying
with
to
you
keep
on
up
those
with
three.
it. Beverly?
I agree with her on those 3.
All right.
I would also like to see us give 500 to the Miss Zebulon organization.
Okay. Annie?
I was gonna say 500 for the MAK breakfast.
Right.
I feel like we need to make a stipulation that there's not going to be any campaigning at that event, though, and I'm concerned that there is not a broad enough reach as far as the people in the community that are invited to that event, and that we need to make it available to more people so that everyone can benefit from that wonderful program and event.
Well, let me speak to that if I may. It's always been an open door policy. It has been restricted by the amount of space
Right.
that was available. So we, might want the committee to take a look at that. Typically, they've been at the Baptist Church, which is really good because they have a kitchen, But it's never been inclusive, in my opinion, and I've been involved with it going back to our centennial, which is where the genesis of it was. So, and I hope it would remain inclusive, and anybody is welcome to come. So that's my take on it. So I'm agreeing with you, but I'm saying that it's never tried to.
Oh, no, but with certain number of tickets available, and then those get passed out, and
Okay,
so
I got it. Thank
that's
you.
all I would like to
Anything
see
else?
with that. Yeah.
That's it.
Larry?
So far, we have East Wake Foundation, Family Violence, Miss Zebulon, Preservation, and MLK,
Yes,
which is a total of, what, 4,500?
I guess. I wasn't adding it up as we went.
Okay, I was gonna say, if we're gonna do those at 4,500, maybe the remaining 500 we could split between Drew for him and Sherry's Glory.
I agree.
That'd expend the entire 5,000.
Okay, Glenn?
I will agree with that also. Did you say 500 for MLK
Yes.
and 500 for Ms. Zebulon?
No.
So we're reducing MLK from 1,000?
Wait a minute, unless I marked my sheet wrong, I don't,
Yeah, I thought we were doing 500 for MLK. Are we not doing?
yes,
Yeah.
we are.
Oh,
Yes.
That's what I thought
Okay.
also.
I couldn't remember us doing anything for Ms.
And then
Zebulon.
500 for Miss Zebulon, right?
500.
Did do that, okay,
Okay.
all right, sorry, that's my mistake then.
And then,
So then you would have 1,000 left.
That's correct.
So you could do 500.
100 each.
Okay,
That works.
I want to be sure we're right. Are we doing 250 for him or 500?
It'd be
Five-
500
be
because
500.
we have 1,000 left to split between, for those two.
Okay, all right.
Yeah.
And so we're talking about 500 for Share His Glory?
yes.
Yes.
All right, I want to go down them just to be sure. Does anybody else have any comments before I read them out? Okay, do for him 500, East Wake Education 1,000, Interact 1,000, Miss Zebulon Organization 500, MLK 500, Preservation Zebulon 1,000, and Share His Glory 500.
Yes.
Correct.
That's right.
I get it right?
Correct.
Yes.
Okay, that being the case, is there a motion?
I move we spend the 5,000 as you just read.
Okay?
Second.
Okay, motion made and second, so I'll ask one more time for any comments. All in favor? Thank you, folks. All right, next we have budget adjustment. Bobby?
Thank you. Just have a handful to report. These are transfers that were done between budget lines in each department. In administration, moved 2,400 from contract services IT to telephone service. Moved 2,250 from contract services, 200 at the safety committee, 300 to vulnerability improvements, 1,200 to travel and training, and 550 to printing and copying. In planning, moved 2,000 from inspections to vehicle maintenance, and moved 2,000 from travel and training to streets contract services. Police moved 5,000 from group insurance to salaries overtime, moved 1,850 from salaries to separation allowance, and fire moved 1,900 from insurance and bonds, 1,500 of that to equipment maintenance, and 400 to electricity and water. Streets moved 5,000 to electricity, 2,500 of that from insurance and bonds, and 2,500 from snow and ice removal supplies. Parks and Recreation moved 2,000 from travel and training, 1,000 of that to grounds maintenance, the other 1,000 to electricity and water. Moved 4,950 from insurance and bonds, 3,000 of that to streets, contract services, and 1,950 to electricity and water. And finally moved 1,000 from part-time salaries, programs to materials and supplies. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Bob. Okay, folks, we have a closed session as permitted by North Carolina General Statutes 143-318.11A6 for the purpose of personnel discussions. Is there a motion to go into closed session?
So move.
Second. Okay, all in favor? All right, we shall move to closed session. Thank you.